So to start our walk through the manufacturing process, what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to start by taking a look at the bill of materials screen, so we can get an idea of what that looks like. So I'm going to click on a little icon, a little hyperlink up here that's going to take me into the master data setting for our bill of materials. And you'll see, as we saw before, we've got this 3-column layout where we've got the list on the left, the detail of what we're looking at in the middle, and then some other icons and actions on the right. I'm just going to hide my left list by actually clicking on this button here so that we can see more information on our main screen. So first of all, what we're doing here is we're looking at a bill of materials for a particular finished product. And in this case, we're talking about a digital printer. We're seeing, for example, that there's a description against it. We're seeing that we're working in particular units for our bill of materials, and that unit could be in singles, or it could be hundreds or thousands, or it could be by batch or lot. Going further down, we're seeing the components of our bill of materials. So we're seeing individual component codes here. We're seeing the unit of measure. We're seeing the quantity involved, and we're also seeing whether the actual quantity is actually proportional or fixed. So in most cases, you may simply multiply the quantity of components by the quantity of finished product that you're actually creating. But in some cases, you may well have a fixed number of items. So, for example, if you're providing some kind of leaflet with your leaflet for instructions with your bill of materials, or if in the case of a printer, you may be providing perhaps a single power supply. And so in this case, I've got my particular quantity as a fixed quantity. Each component here has a routing operation assigned to it. So through routings, we're able to assign labor and or machinery to our particular work orders, so we can then accurately track and then cost the value of the work order. Okay, by now clicking on the multi-level button in the top right-hand corner, what I can see here is actually that a bill of materials can actually have multiple bills of material within it. So here we have our digital printer finished product with the basic products that we saw earlier. Now, in this particular case for the cartridge pack, for example, we can see that a cartridge pack is made up of a number of different components. And so depending on how our BOM is actually laid out, we may decide to actually provide either the pack or the individual cartridges as part of the work order. And that really allows us to use a particular method called the alternates. And what alternates allow us to do is to define that for a particular bill of materials, there might be different versions of that, depending on, for example, whether our components are purchased or maybe even manufactured. So in this case, we may be assembling our cartridge pack based on individual sort of cartridges, but we may well buy the cartridge packs in as sort of complete items, and that might then be a different version of our BOM. As I said before, Sage X3 allows you to define what are called alternates, and here, for example, we can see that we're using a particular alternate called manufacturing, but there are a number of other alternates that we could define, and these are purely defined by yourselves. You can decide the level of detail that you want in here. So here, for example, I've got a repackaging sort of BOM that we might use later on when it comes to assembling sort of various cartons into cartons of different sizes. And we may have different maintenance and maybe even subcontracting BOMs that we use for other reasons. So with that, I'd just like to now really close the session and say thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you found it useful. And if you do need to get in touch, please use any of the details on the screen here, or you can email me directly. It just remains for me to say thank you very much for joining, and have a great rest of your day.